I'm proud to introduce our new reader tonight, Matilda Rockberry. She's 90 years old today, and it took a little persuading for her to come and present, because this is her first time to present. I met her through a newspaper assignment, and they told me that she likes to chronicle her thoughts, and she keeps the journal in a big, cheap tablet that she just began in November. She lives on a farm not too far from here at a place called By Golly Holler, and she likes to write about traditional values, common sense, plus she gives a little slant on the changing times in the political climate. I'm sure you're going to enjoy Matilda. She's slowly making her way up here.
Hello. There's folks look down their noses at me 'cause I ain't never been to high school. Truth is, the schoolhouse was so far down the road, the time I walked there, it was time to turn around and go back home. But one time, at an auction, I got me a whole trunk of books for just $1. $1 of my egg money, and I read them, every one. Them by Mr. Mark Twain, I read 2 or 3 times. I can't figure out folks that'll pay $8 or $10 for a picture show, but don't think somebody's whole library is worth more than $1. Well, the youngins is coming for Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I got 2 of my old hens a-simmering ahead of the noodles and dressing. Butchered them myself the old way with the neck wringing and the boiling water to get off the pin feathers. Sure hope them PETA folks don't come round here and cause a racket. Thanksgiving dinner is a whole lot of work, and I ain't in the mood for no nonsense. Well, here comes the Christmas season a-whistling in like a big old freight train. It ain't that I don't like Christmas, but I just don't give a whit for the way we trap it up. Once I set a cage trap for an old groundhog that was burrowing under my smokehouse. But then here come a bird a-hopping in all innocent-like just to see what the celery was all about. Well, I finally untripped the latch, and the poor thing was a-flapping and fluttering and raising the biggest ruckus in the world. Christmas is supposed to sing and fly. But sometimes we set them traps all careless-like, and it can't do neither one. T'other day, Fern down the road asked me what I thought about them that's running up at the front of the pack for the election. An armadillo can wear anything he wants to, I told her, but inside he ain't nothing but an aggravating old possum. And you can paint over the stripe on a skunk, but that ain't gonna make her smell no better. Yes, sir. In my time, I knowed a lot of possums and a lot of skunks. And they ain't neither one of them gonna make a decent pot of soup. Well, Monday morning, I snuck up like a cat on a canary, and it's time for that newspaper woman to come round pestering and nagging to see my big chief tablet. She claims it's a journal, but it ain't really nothing except a place to round up my thoughts and try to corral them. Yes, sir, there's times they's like wild horses get to stampeding through my head, but then I catch 'em up in the big chief here, and I close the gate, and they settle down, and they commence to whinnying kind of calm-like, and all of us can get some rest. Well, Fern tells me I'm about to get myself in hot water with the ACLU. Says it ain't politically correct to talk about my big chief tablet like I done the other day. Well, land sakes, I says to her, next thing you know, we're going to have to get rid of Indian summer and go straight from 100 degrees down to freezing. I swear, there ain't nothing sticks in my craw like somebody a-trying to mess with my transitions. It's turned off right cold here in the holler, and I ain't just whistling Dixie. Oops, can a body say Dixie? Or is that going to get somebody's panties in a wad? How else is we supposed to talk about them little cups in the bathroom and them the ice cream you eat with a flatwood spoon? Yes, sir, things would sure be simpler if we could just keep on saying Dixie, and them don't like it. They could just, well, you know, like the song says, look away. Fern down the road, she blames the fall of the South on white gravy. A lot of times, us kids in the old days wouldn't have had nothing to eat at all if Mama hadn't made them gravy sandwiches. These days, gravy making is a lost art, and people ends up with either slicing gravy that's way too thick, or chasing gravy that runs plumb off the mashed potatoes and tries to crowd out the green beans. How much milk you put in? The grandkids ask me. I tell them to just pour till their arm stops, but that don't seem to help them none. No, sir. Kids these days just don't seem to have an arm for gravy. Went to the church house yesterday wearing my furry coat and boots because it was dang cold out. Elsie Sniggle says, "Where you going, Tilly? The North Pole?" Fern tells me that was supposed to be tongue in the cheek, meaning she was just pulling my leg. Well, I ain't never heard of no tongue in the cheek, but I know tongue in the teeth means you just ate caramel, and I know a tongue up there on the roof of your mouth is a sign of peanut butter. You ask me, Elsie Sniggle could use a sermon from Pastor Shepherd on tongue in its place. Yes, sir. She plumb forgot the good book says the tongue can be a sword and an arrow. I suppose it's right unchristian-like of me, but there's times I kind of wish hers would poke right through her dad-blamed cheek. T'other morning in Sunday school, Elsie Sniggle said we ought to go around naming things about winter we was thankful for. She says she just loves looking out at snowflakes a-fluttering down like ballerinas and landing in a graceful plie or some such nonsense. Well, t'other day I says one of them little ballerinas stuck her slipper out and sent me sprawling all over the yard and threw my coat plumb up over my bloomers. No, sir, you ask me what's good about winter is wearing long sleeves so I can forget for a spell about the skin on my upper arms a-flapping around like a slab of Jell-O. I say that there's a good reason to thank the Lord and thank Him good. And this, I wrote this on Valentine's Day. 50 years ago, Ezra got me a right pretty box of chocolate candy. He was always one for surprises, so he tucked it under the covers on my side of the bed so I'd kick it around a little when I hopped in and wonder, well, what in the thunder is that? But it was clear down to 0 that night, and I'd went in and switched on the electric blanket ahead of time. He was in that nice toasty bed sawing logs by the time I got the soup cooled and finally hit the sack myself. Well, sometime long about morning, I woke up feeling right sticky. And I guess my bellerin' woke up as I said, what in the thunder is that all right? But maybe not in the exact words. Because him and me was covered in melted chocolate from the waist down. I swear, that man done some of the dangdest things, but Lordy, How I miss him. And what I wouldn't give for one little puddle of that there candy. Me and Fern gets into it pretty regular about whether to call eating at night dinner or supper. She says dinner, but you ask me, that sounds all big and fancy-like. For me, supper always means simple and cozy and warm like soup. It means just about time to tuck in for the day and get yourself some peace and quiet. Yes, sir. Even on them days when something gets under your skin or sticks in your craw, supper has a way of making you think tomorrow might just be all right. I thank you.